Hey guys, and I have figured out what I'm going to be doing for the end of the year every year. Now this year there's going to be some overlap with the old tradition because I don't just want to, I want to still have a video like that at some point this year. So I'm basically just going to have to overlap, or one of these that I really want to do is just going to basically be thrown out and never done. So, for this time we're just going to have to do an overlap, but by next year I'll have it sorted out. So what I'm going to be doing, basically, I'm sure you could see in the title, the year in review. Now, I'm not talking about what I bring home from my collection. I'm purely talking about the lighting and ceiling fan industry. Well, mostly ceiling fans, because that's what you guys are mostly interested in here. So, well, at least when you click on my video, you don't expect me to go talk about a bunch of lighting. You expect me to more talk about fans. That's what we're going to be doing. So basically, as you can see, there's a lot of modern current brands that I get catalogs for, and I am invested in, and I take a look and see what they have, and I'm always checking for updates and stuff. So I'm just gonna basically go over, talk about how I think they did this year, any high points, any low points, that sort of thing. And at the end of every year, that will sort of be my little special or my routine. And then the full collection too, I'm just going to move to National Ceiling Fan Day. I feel like it would get more attention there, and I do put a lot of effort into those videos. That's about an hour plus of just constant talking, so I would rather put it somewhere where it'll get more appreciation, or post it at some time that it would get more appreciation. So anyways, yeah, let's get this started right off. And the first brand we're going to talk about is Big Ass Fans. Now, they haven't put out a catalog this year, but what they have done is they've taken two of their most popular fans, like some of the stuff they're best known for, both the Haiku and the Powerfoil, and they have upgraded them. Both, I believe, are on their fourth generation now. So the Powerfoil, I'm not 100% sure all the stuff that they've changed on that one in particular, besides just making it better. However, when it comes to the Haiku, they've changed a few more things that I could talk about a little bit easier. For example, my favorite change is the light kit. I absolutely love the Gen 4 Haiku light kit. It looks absolutely amazing. Also, as per usual, you've got tons of sizes, finishes, blade options. You've got the UV or whatever uplight to that whole pathogen killer type deal going on as well. And they put out a new generation of their fans every year or two or three. And I really do like it. Big Ass Fans does make some really quality stuff. And, if you're willing to fork over some cash, it'll definitely be worth it. As for how well they're selling in the industry, I've noticed this year they've really started to move more into the showrooms, how well they've been doing. I'm not necessarily sure they're doing the greatest. A couple of the showrooms I've talked to, they've signed on to them. And from what I hear, they haven't made any sales on them yet. So, seeing as it's been almost a whole year since they've signed on, that's not necessarily a good thing. Does that mean that they have bad products or they suck? No, it just means people don't want to spend that much money. Even though some of these showrooms are in some of the nicer parts of Minnesota where people would be willing to spend more money, still they haven't sold many of them, which is kind of surprising. Anyways, the next company I want to talk about is Canarm. Now, Canarm is on its, let's see, I believe 2019 was their first year here in the U.S. So they're on like their, I think, third or fourth year here in the U.S. And this year, just like any other, they introduced some new products. However, one thing that they did do this year, though, is they now offer furniture. Once again, not fan-related, but that is really cool that they now offer furniture as well, or little pieces of decor. Kind of reminds me of Quorum. Quorum used to do some of that same stuff back in the 90s. But anyways, in terms of ceiling fans, there was nothing too special for this year. It was just another average year for them. I feel like they're really starting to keep all their really popular Canadian models up in Canada, and they're starting to separate some of those so they aren't for sale here in the US, like models like I believe the Neptune, the Twister, and I'm sure the Chateau will also be going, and some others. Those are more basic fans that I guess they don't think will sell very well here, so they're only going to sell those in Canada, I guess, is sort of what I'm gathering here. So that's kind of interesting. Anyways, let's see, I'm going to be looking back a little bit whenever I want to see what my next company is. I've got the big catalog wall behind me here. But yeah, the next one is going to be Craftmade. Now, Craftmade over the last 5 years, yeah, it's about 5 years, they haven't really let me down with an introductions. Actually, they haven't really let me down when it comes to introductions in quite a long time. Especially now with their new, a little bit more designer approach that they're going for. Well, I say designer, they're not as much into that as some other companies, but The point is that in the last few years, they've really started to change what their line is all about. And once again, this year they've introduced a whole slew of amazing new products. One of them is the Prost. Well, technically that was introduced very late last year. Well, people knew about it very late last year, but it was a product that was available this year. And that's basically their new, more HVLS type fan. And what makes this one special is you've got special safety cables for outdoor installation instead of your standard ball socket mount. The ball is instead a hexagon, so that basically will eliminate some wobble. And it's got a pretty nice light kit on it. Comes in different sizes. It essentially replaced the Windswept series, and I think it's actually really nice. I was really excited to hear about that last year when my rep told me about it. And it turned out really cool. I haven't seen one in person yet, but I can only imagine they're pretty awesome. I'm pretty sure my rep has. He's told me they're pretty nice. So yeah, overall, KraftMaid once again did a really good job. Also this year, they cut a lot of the crap out of their catalog. Last year, the catalog was unnecessarily long. It was kind of ridiculous. This year, they cut it down. They got rid of the outdoor section, which is probably one of my biggest gripes in almost every single ceiling fan catalog these days, is that they have an outdoor section and there's just a bunch of repeats of the same fans you've already seen before. Just put the fact that it's outdoor rated like somewhere else, or just have a little mini visual index of all the outdoor models. Do something else so you're not wasting so much paper and making the catalog so unnecessarily long. Not just because it's wasting paper, but because it takes up space on my shelf. And as you can see up there, I'm kind of running out. So, I would like to be able to save as much space as possible. Up next, well, we're going to skip past Dan's Fan City because they haven't actually introduced anything new this year. Now, one brand, obviously my shelf is in alphabetical order, and one brand that I technically skipped since we're doing it alphabetical is Karo. And Karo this year, once again, has done a pretty good job. Last year, they were really starting to get their footing in introducing a bunch of new designs. This year now, they've been, like, every week or two when I go onto the website, there's something different there that, they've started offering, and I really do like that. They seem to be doing a good job. The products seem nice. I've been noticing quite a few people have been purchasing them, so that's good. As for any catalogs and stuff I get from them, I do not know whether we will be moving forward with that in the future. Basically, I got a rather vague email saying, oh yeah, we aren't doing catalog. Well, we can't send them out anymore. And it was really vague, and when I tried to get more info, I didn't hear back. So I honestly have no idea what's going on there, whether they will still be something that I feature as a main brand that I get catalogs for. I talk to quite a bit, or I talk to a rep or someone who's involved. I don't know whether they will have that sort of, partnership. Not really, because they don't pay me to say any of this. Like, I don't get anything for saying what I'm saying here, okay? But yeah, basically, I don't know whether they'll still be here and continuing to be something that I talk about on my channel a lot. That's what I'm trying to say. Anyways, up next is Design House. Now, Design House is one of those brands that honestly, when it comes to ceiling fans, it's not one that I would really actively recommend, mainly because the prices are so damn high for these ceiling fans. Now, this could partially be because they don't just make ceiling fans. Maybe they're buying these motors from somewhere else, and that's driving up the price. I do not know. Back in the day, they made more fans. Back in the day, they outsourced to, I believe, like Contrast or Top Union, and then they had some stuff made by Halsey and other stuff. I'm not 100% sure. I'm not the best when it comes to 90s Design House. Current Design House I know a bit more about, but unfortunately, it's nothing worth talking about. Like I said, prices are expensive. You're familiar with those little 6-blade mushroom hugger 30-inch things? Yeah, well, theirs is listed at like $140. I know, right? And what's crazy is that Menards used to sell one of those for about $20. And they don't still offer it, but there's companies that have them for way cheaper, like maybe $60 or something like that. And the one I'm thinking of is the Prominence Hero, which is kind of similar but a little bit different. But that fan's about $60, and the quality is better. So why you would buy the Design House thing, I don't know. A lot of the other prices are just really high. In terms of ceiling fan designs, there's nothing really interesting or special either. It's kind of just a big disappointment. So overall this year, they didn't really do anything that I would consider to be extremely great. They introduced one new fan. It was another one of those stupid basic things you see all over the damn place right now, where, you know, you've got your cylinder with like a dome light on the bottom with 3, 4, 5 blades. This one was 5 blade. Everyone's freaking doing those things now. I honestly don't like them, mainly because I see too many of them. You know, if I see enough of them, I start to hate them. It's not like the Saturn copies, where each one was kind of different. You know, they did something different back in the 80s and 90s when people were copying the Casablanca Saturn. This is different. It's pretty much the same thing every time, and therefore I don't really care or like it that much. Up next is, actually, we're going to skip Eglo, because Eglo hasn't done anything with their fans in a few years. They're much more prominent in fans in Europe and other places, because they are a international company. Up next, oh yeah, I was not looking forward to talk about this one. We have to talk about Luminance, Cathay Ireland Home, all that bull crap. Well, they went bankrupt and they no longer exist, so obviously they did a horrible job this year. What else am I supposed to say? Neither company introduced anything new for ceiling fans this year either. I was told right at the start of the year that there wouldn't be anything for Cathay Ireland Home before they went bankrupt, because I did have a contact there with the lead guy in the Midwest region, and I talked to him quite frequently before they went under. And yeah, they weren't doing anything. Concord and Sunset did offer a new catalog, but there was nothing new for fans. They had a supplement the previous year, and that's where there was some different stuff there, but there was nothing new this year. Also, the catalogs, I could tell that the paper and everything, they just didn't feel as nice as some of the older ones did, so they were definitely cheapening, not just on the products, but on the catalogs. And yeah, well, now they're gone, so that freaking sucks. Anyways, I'm going to break this off into a second part. We'll probably have a third, maybe a fourth. I don't know how far or how many it'll take, but I'm going to go ahead and end this one here. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye.